Shalom. First, I want to say all praise and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash, double understood the elder apostles, the great millstone, Ruel, who have taught us knowledge. Honors and salutations to you, fellow laborers doing the work, risking your lives to do this ministry, do the will of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to you. And I want to say shalom to the few Akwaf that believe as well, which are the few sisters. I entitled this Jeremiah 46 and 27 because of what's going on with regards to the recent controversy that's been going on for weeks now, and concerning the prophecy of when the people that belong to the land of Israel, when they return, what will be uh, the conditions upon the return, meaning what will happen. And so this is Jeremiah 46 and 27. And by the way, Lord willing, I want to say, Lord willing, this video is edifying to those of you that may listen or watch the video. This is Jeremiah 46 and 27. And it reads, "But fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid." This is how you know that the people haven't returned unto the land of Israel. Because if the people, well, when the people return, they will be at what? At rest, at ease. Okay. And it says, none shall make them afraid. So the fact that they have nuclear weapons in the land of Israel show you that they're afraid. And ever since the occupants of the land of or modern day Israel, the day they entered into the land, it was war. Now let's get that. I got an article right here, and it's from Al Jazeera.com. Actually was done this year, early this year. This article was done May 15th, or the 15th of May 2022. So, earlier this year. Let's get into it. It says, Nakba Day. What happened in Palestine in 1948? This year marks 74 years of Al-Nakba, or the Palestinian experience of dispossession and loss of their homeland, which a lot of those Palestinians are Israelites, by the way. Meaning they come from so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American stock, It says, it's written by Muhammad Haddad. I don't know this guy, but he written the article. So it says, every year on May 15th, Palestinians around the world mark the Nakba, or catastrophic, referring to the ethnic cleansing of Palestine in 1948. Having secured the support of the British government for the creation of a Jewish state in Palestine on May 14, 1948, as soon as the British mandate expired, Zionist forces declared the establishment of the State of Israel, triggering the first Arab-Israeli War. So, when you go into the history of 1948, you have a Balfour Declaration, which, even the Rothschilds, which are, the top banking family in the world, and they are a part of, the Israeli occupation, as far as the lineage or descendants or same kinsmen of those occupants of the land of Israel, or inhabitants of the land of Israel. They come from them people as well, and they were the ones that played an instrument role or instrumental role into making that Balfour Declaration happen. And when they entered into the land, it was war. It was met with war, as I'm reading. Right. And at the same time, that Balfour Declaration was made that same year. Okay. So continuing on, it says Zionist military forces expelled at least 7,500,000. I'm sorry, 750,000 Palestinians from their homes and lands and captured 78% of historic Palestine. The remaining 22% was divided into what are now the occupied West Bank and besieged the Gaza Strip. So, hey, uh, this is something that's happening even to this day. As far as infighting and war or warring with one another, and you got a sprinkle of Israelites among the small hats. And that's the truth because one of the curses that the Lord would scatter us among all people, which is all nations. It says the fighting continued until January 1949, when an armistice agreement between Israel and Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria was forged. The 1949 armistice line is also known as the Green Line and is the generally recognized boundary between Israel and the West Bank. The Green Line is also referred to as the pre-1967 borders before Israel occupied the rest of Palestine during the June 1967 war. Israel's military occupation of Palestine remains at the core of this decades-long conflict that continues to shape every part of Palestinians' lives, which is true. It's been going on for a long while. Okay, and even the 1967 Six-Day War, which was gruesome. Okay, um, it was gruesome, and pretty much it was one of the bloodiest battles they had within the war or ongoing war. So, bear with me 1 second. Let me do some real quick. Bear with me 1 second. Shalaki, I had something in my throat. But this 6-day war was one of the bloodiest, and you had a guy by the name of I was just watching the interview. His name is hmm, uh, his last name is Nasir. Uh, his name was middle name is like Abdul Nasir. I forget his first name, but he was a president of Egypt during this time period, and he was one of the biggest, outspoken, um, one of the biggest outspoken people concerning the war, and he fought against, the opposite side, against the Israelis during that time, and it was, he was saying there wouldn't be no peace, unless they returned the land. So this is a 6-day war, uh, which is one of the most bloodiest battles. But I'm not going to read it right now because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But it's something that you can get into, right? But I'm just reading just a little bit. I'm going to read just a little bit. The 1967 Six-Day War, New Israeli Perspective. 50 years later, Abner Cohen says 50 years ago, war transformed the Middle East. Six memorable days known to Israelis as the Six-Day War and to Arabs and others as the 1967 War redrew the region's landscape in fundamental ways. In those 6 days, Israel defeated 3 Arab armies, gained territory 4 times its original size, and became the preeminent military power in the region. The war transformed Israel from a nation that perceived itself as fighting for survival into an occupier and regional powerhouse. So these are the people that occupy the land, and the reason why they having war in that land is because the Lord didn't put them in that land, because as the prophecy says, let me go to it in the book of Isaiah 14, that the Lord will set the children of Israel, all right, or the children of Jacob in that land. When you set something, you have to physically set, something somewhere, or physically place something somewhere. Isaiah 14:1, it says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. Excuse me. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." Which are the strangers are the Israelite foreigners. Okay, and the fact that the Lord didn't set anyone in that land yet, as of yet, which the anyone would be the Israelites. He didn't set the Israelites in that land as of yet, because a part of the Lord set the children of Israel in that land. There are many things concerning prophecies that are going to take place. Yahweh Shai coming back with the with Michael and the archangels, and the rest of the angels that's going to fight and be inside the chariots fighting against Esau and the militaries of the earth. The elect has to go up on the ships, which is so-called UFOs, which are the chariots of Israel. You have the War of Armageddon, Jacob's time of trouble. You have the MOTB, the implantable device that has to take place. So there are things that have to take place before the Lord even set the children of Israel in their land. All right, the scriptures speak about the strangers of His salvation, talking about the strangers of Israel's salvation. The way that Israelites, which are of the elect, the ones of the elect, Lord willing, I'm a part of the elect. The rest of the 1/3 is going to be beamed up on the so-called UFOs and taken back to that land. That's the New Jerusalem coming down from heaven, right? And that's according to prophecy. Okay, so that's the reason why, um, they have tension in that land. Uh, Verse 2, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids." So the Israelites are going to have slaves as well. Remember, he that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. So whoever enslaved the Israelites are going to be enslaved. It even mentions that in Jeremiah 30. I'll get that in a second. Matter of fact, let me get it right now. All right, Jeremiah 30, and I believe that's 16. Yeah, come. Jeremiah 30 and 16. "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them," which our adversaries are all the nations that come against us and cut us off from being a nation, which the heathen hate us. All right. I mean, we've been cool with Japhet, kind of was cool with Jake, but outside that, the nations have really came against us Israelites, even until this very day. Okay, look at the controversy of Zion. If people would just read the Bible, they would know and understand who the people are. Well, if the Lord opened up their understanding to see it, because it's clear who the children of Israel are. It says, "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey." And it says, verse 17, "For I will restore health unto thee, and will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after." And that's the way they treat us. Okay? That's the way they treat us, man. First of all, the children of Israel were casted out of their land, starting with us northern tribes. And then the southern kingdom followed. I mean, we know that after the Babylonian exile, that mainly and namely of the southern kingdom return, you have remnants of the northern tribes, but yet and still, okay, us northern tribes came over to this side of the world, right, known as the so-called unknown world or new world, a world which, going back to King Solomon, we've always knew about it. So that's another thing. Let me go back to from there. Let me go from there back to Isaiah 14. Okay. And I was at verse 2. It says, Isaiah 14:2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord. All right. For servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right. And so the people that oppress the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American people, and whoever descended from us, all right, whether you be a confusion face looking Israelite or not, because one thing about Israel is like a speckled bird. So every Israelite ain't gonna look like a so-called Negro, or typical looking so-called Negro, or typical looking so-called Latino, or typical looking so-called Native American, which that's even crazy in itself, because you have a stereotypical looking so-called Native American, which they like to hide history about that. All right. When they seen so-called Native Americans and so-called Hispanics, as you call us today, when they first seen us, they called us Negroes. That's all history they don't want you to know. But anyways, let me continue on with the lesson. So this haven't happened, right? Because it said that we would rule over our oppressors, man. We're gonna have captives or slaves, all right? And this hasn't taken place yet. Okay. Now, let me get a precept. Oh, it's like all right. Zechariah 9:6. It says, "And the bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines," which are today known as Palestine today, right? The original Palestinians, which go back to Philistines, were actually Hamites. Okay, that's history that is left out. The so-called Arabs, they don't belong near that land either. Even though there are a number of Israelites among the Palestinians today, that land originally was inhabited by Ham. All right, some of the people of Ham, the Hamites, the so-called Africans. All right, but right now you got a bastard dwelling in Ashdod, which is, Palestine and Israel. Okay, because it's not under the control, first of all, of the Israelites, and even knowing that, King David has to be sitting on the throne. Okay, it even says that. All right, in Ezekiel 37, which is, the 12 tribes coming back. No, let me word the correct way. The Lord bringing the 12 tribes back together, right? Waking up the tents of Judah, the tents of Ephraim, joining them to one stick, right? So the 12 tribes of Israel should be in the land of Israel, all right, when the Lord takes them back to their land. Because the Lord said that he would take us, knowing, and give us our own land back to us, as he have given it to our forefathers. You see? Let me see. Ezekiel 30. I'm gonna start at 21. Yeah, Ezekiel 37 and 21. It says, "And say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be going, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land." See, the Lord still saying he's going to bring us into our own land. See, as I mentioned a few moments ago, it says, verse 22, "And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel." See, one nation. How many tribes are within the nation of Israel? There are 12 tribes. Why are there not 12 tribes in the land of Israel today? See? It says, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, which going into the split, all right, when it became the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, all right, or Judah and Ephraim or Israel, okay? It says, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. See? This is something that you theologians and you wacky tacky Christians don't understand. Okay? This proves the kingdom of heaven ain't implemented because the kingdom of heaven is for the Israelites, man. Okay? Excuse me 1 second. Excuse me. You know, the kingdom of heaven is for the children of Israel, which the Lord promised unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See? So when the people go back to the land, you won't have two nations no more. All right? That's something even this guy, Ronald Dalton Jr., he hasn't even went into. He keeps speaking about the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. Ronald Dalton Jr., there are more than just the Jews. The Jews are just the southern kingdom, meaning Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. See? It says, verse 23, neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their power. And David, my servant, shall be king over them. So David has to sit on the throne. David wasn't living during the time of Ezekiel. See, it's a thing. It's a such thing as reincarnation in the Bible. See, King David going to come back. Excuse me. Excuse me. King David is going to come back in that new body with spiritual powers, along with the elect, and the rest of the nation is going to come back in the kingdom, right? But King David is going to sit on the throne. He's going to be right up under Yahushua, going back to the promise that the Lord will establish the throne of David. Forever. It will make it in the same thing he made or said unto about Solomon, which was Yahushua in reincarnation. So hey, man, where is King David? You know, and David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. See? And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children, forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. See? Even when you go into the covenant is made unto who? Israel, the northern tribes, and Judah, the southern tribes. The whole nation. Okay? And a part of that covenant is the Lord making us perfect. Also, as I just read, giving us our land back that the heathen are occupying. Okay, and then David, right up under Yahushua. All right, his name is Yahushua. You know, his name is Yahushua. All right, Yahushua is going to reign supreme, but who's going to sit on the throne under Yahushua? King David. See? Even Ezekiel 36 tell you what happened until the land. In fact, I'm right there. Let me go ahead and hit it. Bring that on up. Ezekiel 36:5, it says, therefore, thus said the Lord, excuse me, therefore, thus said the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which is a Greek way of saying Edom, which I have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey, like I was going into 1948 with Henry Balfour, though, man, the Balfour Declaration, man. That's appointing, the Lord's land into your possession, man. Okay, Shlaki for that. I don't know what that. I supposed to put my phone to do not disturb, but Shlaki. But anyways, this is what happened. You have heathen appointing the Lord's land into their possession, whether it's the so-called Arabs or the Edomites. And though we may have people among you, Israelites among you, that land belongs to the children of Israel solely. If you're not an Israelite, you're not supposed to be in that land. And even though the Lord is going to cleanse the land by fire, you shouldn't be there anyway. I mean, I wouldn't want to be there. And then, before I close, when the people of the land return, even, all right, it says that what? That nations, all right, is going to flow unto the land of Israel. Isaiah 2 and verse, start 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. All nations not flowing into the land of Israel right now. All right. The nation of Israel are going to be established above all nations, going back to Deuteronomy 76. The Lord made the children of Israel to be above all people, man. Verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. And what are those? The laws, commandments, statutes, and judgments. The scripture says that the law shall go forth from Jacob. The heathen are going to learn, all right, from the Israelites of what living righteous is all about. By what? Hearkening unto the government of the Israelites, which is keeping laws, commandments, statutes, man. Ain't gonna be none of this stuff going on right now. You won't have a pink city Tel Aviv. None of that stuff going on in the Holy Land. You see? It says, for out of Zion shall go forth the law. See? The law of the Lord is not exalted in today's society. It's abhorred. Because why? The wicked is ruling. And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, the city of peace, man. See? Verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. See, this is going to happen when the people return to that land. It's not going to be no more warring. There'll be no fight going on. After World War III, the War of Armageddon, when Yahushua come back and subdue Esau and the militaries on the earth, nations won't learn war anymore. Right now, nations are at war. See? And this is the reason why the people in that region, Palestine and Israel, they're constantly warring with each other and they're constantly afraid. Both sides. Okay? But going back to Jeremiah 46 and 27, let's get that again. It said that none shall make him afraid, man. See? Jeremiah 46:27. But fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. See? Nobody's gonna make the children of Jacob afraid. Nobody's gonna be warned against the children of Jacob. No nation's gonna be fighting against each other in war. You're gonna see order and peace restored into the earth. By who? The Israelites. So with that, Lord willing, this video has been edifying to those of you who may have listened and tuned in. And to the next video, I want to say shalom.